Have you ever sat down, really determined to learn something complex, maybe, AI ethics or financial modeling, something new anyway, and you just feel the whole structure of information kind of collapse around you? You start searching online, right? And suddenly you've got maybe 20 browser tabs open, some PDFs, 4 or 5 YouTube videos that look promising. It's not that the information isn't there. It's just, it's all disconnected. It's either way too basic or it assumes you're already an expert. You end up with this like pile of puzzle pieces, but absolutely no idea how to assemble them. That exact feeling, that overwhelm, that information fire hose, that's what we're going to tackle today. And we have a pretty powerful promise here. AI can actually step in as your personal curriculum designer. It can cut through all that chaos and give you a structured, step-by-step roadmap for pretty much anything you want to learn. So our mission in this deep dive is to unpack a simple method. It's non-technical, uses a free tool, Google's NotebookLM, to go from just a mess of sources to a clear custom curriculum. And even, get this, an audio lesson made just for you.
Yeah, it's a huge shift because, honestly, the real bottleneck in self-learning, it's often not the subject itself. It's the sheer mental energy, the cognitive load you spend just trying to organize everything before you can even start learning it.
That really is the core issue, isn't it? Why is learning on your own from the internet just so frustrating sometimes? You nailed the first point, the sheer volume. It's not just too much info, it's the way it comes at you. Feels like drinking from a fire hose, like you said, leads to just shutting down.
Exactly. And because there's no clear start here sign, no chapter 1, you almost always jump ahead. You find some great article on an advanced strategy, maybe, but you haven't even grasped the basics of risk yet. You're reading chapter 10 before you even know where chapter 1 is.
And the other side of that, the rabbit hole. We've all been there. You click one link, looks good, leads to another link. That one's kind of related. And 45 minutes later, you're watching a documentary on, I don't know, the history of the railroad. And you haven't learned the main thing you set out to learn.
Well, yeah, that happens because the internet is built for clicks, right? Not for learning continuity. It throws isolated facts at you. But real learning, that's about connecting those facts, building a cohesive mental framework. Beat. That's the goal.
And so often the content feels like it's written for someone with a PhD or maybe a fifth grader. It's rarely at that sweet spot for, a curious adult who's just trying to learn.
Right. And what's really key here strategically is realizing your energy shouldn't be wasted trying to manually sort all this stuff out. The AI can just eliminate that entire organizational headache so you can focus purely on understanding the material.
Okay, so if the main goal is cutting down that cognitive load, how does forcing structure onto all this disorganized info actually do that?
Well, structure gives you immediate context. It basically removes the need for you to do that initial, often really exhausting organization yourself.
Got it. Okay, let's unpack the tools then. What do we actually need to build this structure? It sounds pretty simple. A topic you want to learn, access to YouTube, a web browser, and this tool, NotebookLM, which is, as you said, the AI acting as our sort of personal learning assistant here.
But the first step, the critical one, it isn't actually the AI. It's your source quality. We really can't stress this enough. Garbage in, garbage out. Your curriculum is only ever going to be as good as the stuff you feed the AI.
Right. So let's use that example from the sources, learning about the stock market for beginners. If I'm searching YouTube, what makes a source high quality for the AI? First off, recency, right? Especially for finance or tech, you probably shouldn't use anything more than a year or old. Things change too fast. Then, credibility. You need to look for creators or channels known for solid educational content in that specific field, not just entertainers.
Yeah, absolutely. And look for social proof, too. It's a quick check. Not just raw view counts, but actual engagement. Videos with maybe 50,000 plus views and a comment section that's actually helpful and thoughtful. That usually signals quality. We're trying to avoid the flashy clickbait stuff. Once you find maybe 5 to 10 good ones, just copy those URLs into a simple text file. That's your foundation.
Okay, makes sense. But what's the biggest risk if we cut corners here? If we just grab the first few videos we find without checking quality?
Well, if you use biased or just plain outdated sources, the curriculum the AI spits out is going to directly reflect that bad data. It might even amplify it. Okay, so now for the AI part, the setup. This is where the AI starts doing the heavy lifting. Let's call this move number 2. Setting up your learning space in NotebookLM. It's straightforward. You just create a new notebook. Think of it like a dedicated project folder for one topic. So maybe stock market basics. Keeping it focused is important.
And then you add the sources you collected. You just copy and paste those YouTube URLs you vetted one by one into the source area.
Right. And here's what's happening under the hood, which is kind of cool. The AI isn't watching the video like we do. It's actually processing the entire transcript, minute by minute. It absorbs all the knowledge from every source you gave it. It turns that video dialogue into reliable text data. And that grounding in your specific sources is what makes the output trustworthy.
Okay, and now for move 3, the prompt.
Yeah.
This is the key moment, right, where we turn that big pile of raw text data into a structured learning plan. And I'll admit, Beat, I still wrestle with prompt drift myself sometimes. You try to get too clever or too complex. But for this task, the prompt really needs to be simple and direct, super clear. My go-to is something like, based on all the videos I've added, create a simple course outline for someone who knows absolutely nothing about topic. Organize it logically, step by step, A to Z, basically.
So thinking about those video transcripts, maybe even conflicting ones, what's the specific instruction that makes the AI pull them together into one coherent curriculum?
You have to tell it two things. Who you are, like, I'm a complete beginner, and the structure you need, give it to me, step by step, logically. That clarity is key.
And boom, the result is honestly pretty transformative right away. If you look at that sample stock market outline it generated, it just cuts through the confusion by breaking it down into these clear, manageable modules. No more paralysis.
Yeah, like Module 1, it focuses purely on the essential foundations, the why behind investing. The AI, pulling from all those videos, highlights that your money needs to grow. It connects the threat of inflation, money losing maybe 5 to 8% of its buying power, just sitting there, to the power of compound interest. That idea of money growing almost magically on its own.
Exactly. It uses the source material to establish the need first, intellectually and even emotionally. Then, Module 2 moves logically into key concepts and terminology, which is vital for building confidence early on. It clears up common confusion points like defining a stock versus a share. It introduces the basic jargon, bull market, bear market. And it explains what an index is like. The S&P 500, just basically a scoreboard tracking a bunch of investments. And the AI connects these different ideas for you.
And I like that it quickly points beginners towards the safest starting point. Index funds or ETFs, it frames them as, passively managed low-fee ways to get instant diversification. Buy one thing, own a piece of the whole market. It steers you away from trying to pick winning stocks right out of the gate, which is super risky for newbies.
For sure. Then Module 3 gets really practical. It's the pre-investment checklist. Before you even think about buying anything, the AI pulls out these common rules from the videos. First, pay off high-interest debt, like credit cards over 10%. Second, build up a safety net, the 3 to 5 month emergency fund. And third, start by practicing. That start with $0 advice is gold. The curriculum stresses using trading simulators, paper trading, and crucially, acting like that fake money is real. Why? So you can see your emotional mistakes getting greedy, getting scared without actually losing money. It accelerates learning, risk-free.
And then it introduces that safe strategy, dollar cost averaging, or DCA. The AI explains it simply. Just invest a fixed amount regularly, say every month, no matter if the market's up or down. It helps lower your average cost and takes away that huge psychological pressure of trying to time the market perfectly, which is basically impossible anyway.
Right. And Module 4 rounds it out by highlighting common mistakes. The AI pulls together the recurring warnings from the sources, people skipping the practice phase, thinking they can beat the market by picking stocks, trying to time market dips, or panic selling during a crash, all the classic pitfalls.
Oh, gee.
Whoa. Just thinking about scaling this, you could genuinely create a solid, grounded curriculum for, 10 different subjects in a single afternoon, data science, ancient history, whatever. That's more than a shortcut. It really changes the whole workflow of learning something new on your own.
Yeah, that synthesized text outline is incredibly powerful. But we can take it further. Now we get to the fourth move, turning that perfect text structure into your own personal mini podcast. Right, because reading is great, but being able to listen while you're driving or working out or just walking around, that's huge for integrating learning into daily life. And that's where the audio overview feature in NotebookLM comes in. It's pretty slick.
But again, it's not just magic. You need to guide the AI. If you just ask it to summarize the raw videos, you'll get a generic summary, not tailored to your learning plan. To really leverage that custom curriculum you built, you need to prompt it precisely again.
Okay, so you take that polished, step-by-step outline you just generated, copy it, paste it back into the prompt box in NotebookLM, and give it clear instructions. Something like, create a friendly, easy-to-understand audio conversation for a total beginner learning about the stock market. Make it sound like two hosts explaining the topic, and only use the structure provided in the outline I just pasted.
And what happens is the AI processes all your original source material again, but this time it writes a custom audio script based on your outline. Then it generates like a 10 to 20-minute audio file. A complete lesson following your exact learning path using examples drawn from the videos you initially selected. It's incredibly efficient.
So if that text curriculum is already perfectly organized for reading, what's the next really game-changing output the AI gives us that fits how people actually learn today?
It delivers that high-quality custom audio conversation. It explains your own curriculum back to you, making learning instantly mobile and accessible. Okay, but we're not done yet. The final move, number 5, active learning. Just passively listening or reading, it's not quite enough for deep learning. We really encourage active engagement. Maybe listen to that audio lesson twice. First time, just get the flow. Second time, pause, take notes on definitions, actionable steps, questions that pop up.
And this is where the grounded nature of the AI really pays off again, right? You can go back to the chat interface in NotebookLM and ask really specific follow-up questions. Explain the difference between a Roth IRA and a 401k in simple terms, for example. And because it's grounded, the AI answers only using the information from those videos you provided initially. It can't just make stuff up or go off on tangents.
Exactly. And you can push it further. Ask it to generate other useful tools from your sources, like generate a study guide or a quick cheat sheet for review. Or for visual learners, create a mind map to see how all the core concepts connect, like stacking Lego blocks of knowledge visually.
Or even just to check your understanding before moving on, you could ask it, create a 5-question multiple choice quiz based only on the content of these sources. Test yourself quickly.
What this whole process does, fundamentally, is shift learning. It moves away from that old one-size-fits-all classroom model to something completely customizable, totally flexible. You control the topic, you control the pace, and critically, you control the quality of the information going in. You essentially become your own curriculum designer.
It offers a massive advantage, definitely. But let's keep it balanced. What are the key limitations or caveats we need to remember with this AI approach?
Okay, yeah, fair points. First, while it's pretty rare with these grounded models, the AI can still sometimes misinterpret a nuance. If a concept it explains sounds weird or contradicts something else, you still need to do a quick sanity check against the original source video. That human verification is still important.
And that source bias issue we mentioned earlier, it gets amplified here. If all 10 videos you chose happen to push one very specific, maybe biased viewpoint on investing, well, your AI-generated curriculum is going to reflect that bias very strongly. So you really need to make an effort to find diverse perspectives when you're initially gathering sources.
Good point. And finally, you got to remember what this is good for. It works brilliantly for conceptual knowledge, understanding theories, processes, histories, but for hands-on skills. Things like learning to code or play the guitar or even surgical techniques. This AI can give you the perfect roadmap, the theory, the steps, but you still have to do the physical practice. You still have to actually take the drive, so to speak. AI can't do the reps for you.
So wrapping up, what we've really seen today is that using a powerful, grounded AI tool like NotebookLM lets you find quality sources, merge their knowledge, generate a truly logical, custom A to Z curriculum, and then even turn that into a personal audio lesson. And often, you can do all of that in under an hour. It completely bypasses all that frustrating, disorganized searching and information overload we started with, the tools, the knowledge architecture. It's ready for you to build on. So now that you know how to create this kind of perfect roadmap for basically any subject, what's that complex skill or that knowledge gap that you've maybe been putting off learning? Think about how you could structure it and finally tackle it starting today. What's that first step?
Yeah, it's about taking back control of your own learning journey. The tools are there.
Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We really hope you explore this method and start becoming your own knowledge architect.
Until next time.